This week, Russia didn't end the war with Ukraine, causing President Donald Trump to not follow through on his threat of more sanctions. Superman joins ICE, and Oklahoma has a teacher shortage. I'm Margaret Star, and welcome to a news show. Remember when Donald Trump threatened sanctions on Russia if the war with Ukraine didn't end? What he actually meant was, never mind, we'll have a meeting instead.
Tonight, President Trump announcing a meeting between him and Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss ending the war in Ukraine is a go.
We're going to have a meeting with Russia.
The president saying that meeting will happen in Alaska next Friday. Trump had given Russia until today to stop the fighting or face additional sanctions, but the fighting has only intensified. And instead of being slapped with sanctions, Putin now preparing to sit down with Trump.
So to recap, Trump told Russia, stop fighting by August 8th or we'll punish you. And Russia was like, not only will we not stop fighting, we're going to do more of it. And Trump was like, I dare you. And Russia was like, I'm literally doing it right now. And Trump was like, well played. It's like telling your landlord, raise the rent, see what happens. And then they do, and you Venmo them.
President Putin, I believe, wants to see peace, and Zelensky wants to see peace. Now, President Zelensky has to get all of his everything he needs because he's going to have to get ready to sign something. And I think he is working hard to get that done.
Yes, President Zelensky is going to have to get all of his everything he needs. What does that even mean? If somebody told me to get all of everything I need, I'd show up with a hammer. You can solve a lot of problems with a hammer. Also Spanx. And wine.
The president had been pushing for the meeting to also include Ukrainian President Zelensky, but now moving forward with just Putin.
Wait, Zelensky isn't even going to be there? After the meeting, they're probably going to approach Ukraine like, we agreed, you should just give us your stuff. So after Trump's bluff got called, is this Russia's last chance at peace?
I don't like using the term last chance. I think my instinct really tells me that we have a shot at it.
This whole thing is weird. Trump doesn't speak for Ukraine. Russia clearly doesn't fear the U.S., and there's no definitive path toward peace in that region. What could this possibly accomplish? Oh! U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, Vice President J.D. Vance, and FBI Director Kash Patel met at the White House this week to discuss the Epstein files, which I'm told is frowned upon. That's it! I was distracted for a second. Can't believe I almost fell for that. Stay on target, Margaret. Stay on target. Speaking of, this week, convicted child sex trafficker and Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell was banned from the prison's service dog program. Officials say they misunderstood when she said she had experience in grooming. Still, she might be able to walk the dogs, though, just not toward any playgrounds. During several WNBA games this week, fans have been throwing dildos onto the court. Apparently, they misunderstood when they heard the players were told to go hard in the paint. And shout out to that ref who caught one barehanded. Respect. Former Superman actor Dean Cain announced this week that he's joining ICE, which makes sense because he loves to wear disguises and fight aliens. The only difference is that this time his kryptonite isn't a green rock, it's a green card. See what we did there? We were like green rock, green card, and we asked ourselves, can we make this work? And thought,
my instinct really tells me that we have a shot at it.
Due to a teacher shortage, Oklahoma schools will be bringing in teachers from Mexico this fall. Students are excited to start classes in their new off-campus location, the Home Depot parking lot. Earlier this month, Donald Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after they released the worst job numbers since the pandemic and accused her without evidence of faking the numbers. So instead of fixing the problem, he fired the messenger. No wonder his casinos went bankrupt. At this rate, the U.S. is headed in the same direction. And he's
working hard to get that done.
Which brings us to our segment, The Art of the Jobs Report. This week, President Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after they revised job growth numbers down by 258,000. And here's the thing, that's completely normal. The BLS does this every month. It's their job. Revisions happen because more complete data comes in. It's like correcting your grocery list when you realize you already have milk. It's not a scandal, it's just math. But apparently, in Trump's mind, any downward revision is proof of political sabotage, which is insane. That's like getting mad at your scale for telling you your real weight and then firing your trainer. And this isn't just political paranoia, it's strategic. The downward revisions still show job growth, but Trump doesn't like numbers that aren't flattering, so He's installing someone who will give him whatever numbers he wants. Next month, jobs report will be like, the US created 100 million jobs, and they're all supermodels who think you are really smart. Here's the bigger problem. When you treat standard methodology as political treachery, you make honest data impossible. You tell everyone in government, if the truth isn't flattering, don't report it. That's how you end up with economic reports that sound like your uncle describing his bowling average. Yeah, it's a 300, but only if you round up and ignore the first game and also the other games. This is part of a pattern. Fire the weatherman if it rains. Fire the census if you don't like the numbers. Hell, fire Sesame Street because you think Big Bird's too tall. And before you know it, every agency in America is staffed by supermodels whose only qualification is saying, yes, Mr. President, the economy is fantastic. Also, can you open this jar for me? Your hands are so strong. And that's the real danger here, because once the government stops telling the truth about the numbers, we won't just be in a recession, we'll be in a make-believe economy. Which is great if you're in a Disney movie, but if you're in real life, you're screwed. Thanks for watching! Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps more than you know. I'm Margaret Star. Bye!